My husband is planning on going on a date with his long-term ex. My husband and his ex, we'll call her Emily. Emily and my husband dated for several years. The only reason why they even broke up was because my husband did not want to have children, and he also did not want to get married, which is something that she really wanted. So they broke up, she moved away, and after she moved away, about a month later, I met my husband. Since day one, my husband admitted to me I'm not the typical girl that he would go for. Like Emily, she's tall, blonde, blue eyes, has a PhD, and she's also a social butterfly. While I look like this, I'm an introvert, and I'm also just a nurse. My husband has a group of friends that he has known since childhood. They, since day one, have not liked me. They even made comments calling me the rebound girl. His best man during our wedding made a toast saying how he thought rebound girls were temporary, but he was so happy that his best friend was able to make an honest girl out of me. And he also mentioned during the toast in front of everyone saying how he downgraded from a doctor to a nurse. Everyone laughed. Everyone in that room laughed except for me. I did not think that was funny whatsoever. Last weekend, my husband and I went to a fundraising gala. And I apparently did not know that Emily was going to be there. My husband did not say anything. I personally don't know if he knew or not, but he did not mention anything to me. Emily walked up to us. My husband introduced me to Emily and said, "Hey, this is my wife." And then Emily makes a comment saying, "Oh, I know exactly who she is." And then she starts giggling and saying how all the guys definitely did not fail to describe exactly how I looked, as if it was funny. My husband tried to change the conversation. He just asked her how long she was going to be in town. She said she was just going to be here for about a week or so. And then after he asked her that, they both just started reminiscing about the past, apparently, right in front of me. So I just walked away. I went to go make conversation with a bunch of people I didn't know while they were both together the entire night. So, my husband and I ended up going home. We were getting ready to go to bed, and then he made a comment saying how he really wants to take her to dinner. And so in my head, I was thinking he wants to bring her here. Like, he wouldn't go anywhere without me, right? So I just asked him, yeah, like, what kind of food does she like so that I can make food, make something that she likes. I was still trying to be nice at this time. And then he says, no, like, I meant just Emily and I going out for dinner. Okay. And so I asked him, like, a date? Are you trying to take your ex on a date? And he said, no, I'm not trying to take her out on a date. It's just like best friends hanging out. And then asked me, why are you so insecure? After he asked that, I asked him, would you be okay if I called my ex and asked him if he wanted to go out for dinner? Just him and I. Would that be okay with you? And of course his answer was, no, that would definitely not be okay. I guess I'm just not understanding. Like, it's okay for him to take his long-term girlfriend to a dinner date because that's what it is, if we're going to be honest. It's a date that you're trying to take your ex to. I left off with telling him that if he was going to go through with taking his ex out, then I was going to go also and take my ex out because I thought that was fair. Why am I going to sit here and have you go out on a dinner date? I mean, we might as well just be broken up. Why don't you just do that? Why don't we just get a divorce so that way you can actually have a very good friendship with your ex, Emily?
Hey guys, get ready with me for a grad party while I talk about how my ex-boyfriend cheated on me with my friend. I really don't think I need this, but I'm gonna use it anyway. Also, I found $100 gift card, Lululemon gift card yesterday, and it was like 2 years old, so I bought this cute. Anyways, so I dated him for 2 years. Let me tell you, 2 years. He would come over to my house every day for the first 6 months. We were like best friends until he asked me to be his girlfriend. And let me also say that literally everybody thought we were gonna get married. So basically January of this year, we had a talent show at our school. There were a class that all the seniors and some juniors do. So both of us did the talent show, and we actually worked together on sound. But for some reason, I got excluded of the group that was created. So they would start to hang out, all of them without me. Mind you, I've been friends with all of them longer than he has, and a bunch of them were girls. So it's like him and his like 4 like guy friends and like all these girls. And the girls I was friends with for way longer. Like one of them I was friends with for like 10 years. And I still didn't get invited. So, and when I asked him to come, he'd be like, well, it's not my house, so I can't like make that decision. And then I'd be like, okay, whatever. And so then when it was at his house, he wouldn't invite me, but he was like, you're always welcome. And he wouldn't tell me when they're coming to his house. So I never, like, I wasn't gonna check his location and be like, oh, like, invite me. So then in February, we went on a trip together, and like he was acting weird, like before the trip. And then the trip, like, gave me like reassurance. I was like, oh, like, you know, with his whole family, like, we're good, all this stuff. And during the trip, this girl kept snapping him. Well, she was snapping him anyways, but this girl that I was like friends with, snapping him. And like I didn't even know he added her because he would always tell me when he added somebody, just for some reason, and didn't tell me. And she's like snapping him like this. So this continued for a while, and then I think in like March I said something. I was like, I don't feel comfortable with the way that my friend is snapping you. And like then I would go to their hangouts like once in a great while when I would actually get invited, and the way she would look at him just really threw me off. It was like the eyes, you know? The eyes never lie. So I told him that she made me uncomfortable, and he told the whole group of like 8 of them, and they obviously told her, and she was like, well, Olivia thinks I'm a threat to the relationship. I was like, okay, girl, well, maybe because the way you're acting. So then in March, I went on a little vacation, and my best friend goes to the gym and sees him at the gym with not the girl that was snapping him weird, but a different girl who I've been friends with for 10 years in the same group. And I always told him, if you ever go to the gym with a girl alone, that's cheating, in my opinion. And I think that's reasonable, because why would you want to be working out with another girl who's not me? And I work out with him all the time. So I texted him because I looked at his location and I saw my friend's location at the gym too. And I was like, are you at the gym? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, who are you with? And he was like, myself. And I was like, whoa. And I think also I saw like their locations before my friend told me, like, go in the car. Like she went to his house, picked him up, go in the car. Forgot to mention that. I was like, oh, that's funny because my best friend just texted me saying that you're at the gym with this girl. And he was like, oh yeah, like I just saw her here. And so now we're like working out together. What? Like, why are we lying? So then he's like, you better not be mad at me because you've already gotten mad at me so many times for the other girl this week. And he's like, and you're so controlling and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I played it cool. I was like, oh, like, I'm not mad at you, but you said it was cheating if, like, you know, like, we set those boundaries. And he's like, well, I'm just not going to talk about this right now. And I was like, okay, fine. So then when I got back, of course, he was like, we need to talk. And then he, like, freaked out saying I'm so controlling and all this stuff and how, like, I'm going to be controlling in college. Basically, he tried to break up with me. And I was, like, obviously really upset. And then, like, a couple days later, like, we were still talking like normal. And then a couple days later, he's, like, had a conversation with his family. And he's like, well, I'm not going to break up with you. Like, I want to be with you, all this stuff. He's like, but you can't be controlling. And I was like, okay. Which, for the record, we were never the couple to be like, oh, we're going to take a break. Oh, we're going to break up. So this is weird. This was really weird because this was the first time in, like, our whole relationship. So fast forward, after that happened, we were fine for a little bit. We were chilling, went to prom together, you know. But during that whole thing, like, I'm going to say in May, and we broke up in May. Maybe it was April. I don't know. So I made him unadd this girl because she kept, the first girl, original one, you know, because she kept snapping him, like, really weird. And I was like, that makes me uncomfortable. Like, if you could just unadd her, that'd be great because I don't like the way she's snapping you. Like, genuinely, like, weird. Trust. So I unadded her, and he got real mad, all this stuff. And I was like, okay, like, why are you mad? You have to unadd a girl. Like, I would unadd any guy. Then I think this was actually in, like, March or maybe even February because because Senior Assassin started in March, so this was definitely like before April or May. He had her back for Senior Assassin, and I was like, okay, weird, because he didn't even have her or anything. Yeah. So last little part before I'm gonna have to make a part 2. But basically, we were laying in bed one day, and she snapped him really weirdly, so I told him to leave her on open. And he was like, okay. So I turn, and we were laying in his bed, so I turn over, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap. Puts his phone down. I hear him pick his phone up while I'm laying there, still awake. And he picks up his phone for like 2 seconds, turns it off, puts it down. And I just had a weird feeling. So I like turn over, and I'm like, could I see your phone? Like, could you go to Snapchat? And he's like, why? And I'm like, could you just, like, you know? And he's like, okay. So he goes to Snapchat, and I see it says her name delivered just now. And I look at him, and I'm like, did I not just tell you to leave her on open? Was it that hard that you said yes, and then you proceeded to pick up the phone when I was rolled over? I kid you not. He goes, I never did that. I never did that. I don't know why you don't believe me. I never did that. I asked him, I was like, is it a ghost? Because he was like, it probably glitched. Like, what? So I'm done with my makeup, so I'm gonna have to make a part 2, so stay tuned because there's a lot more. Thanks for watching.
Let him go. Let him go. You have been sad over him for quite some time now. Don't ever allow someone to take your love from you. It's not theirs to take. That guy or girl is not your only source of love. Love is within you, and it's always yours.
My mum had an affair with her terminally ill best friend's husband, and that's not even the worst of it. My mum has had the same best friend my whole life. Let's call her Rose. And honestly, Rose is an angel on earth. We don't deserve her. It's so unfair that out of everybody, she is the person who got diagnosed with terminal stage 4 cancer. So Rose turned to her best friend, my mum, to ask for help. Rose had a daughter from her previous marriage who was 19, and she also had a toddler of her own. And then Rose and her husband had a 10-year-old daughter between them. And the 4 of them were really struggling with what was going on. So Rose reached out to her best friend, my mum, to ask for help. And of course my mum said yes. She moved them all in, other than the 19-year-old daughter and her toddler, because we didn't have the space. So Rose actually used her sick benefits to pay for her 19-year-old to be put up in a bedsit with her toddler. And then the 3 of them moved in with us. My mum sounds amazing, right? Wrong. Because she was already having an affair with Rose's husband. She was sleeping with her best friend's husband whilst her best friend was nearing the end of her life in agony. Then between the 2 of them, my mum and Rose's husband, they decided to ship her off to a nursing home 2 hours away so they didn't have to deal with her anymore. So they didn't have to sneak about anymore. Because sneaking about was about to get very difficult. You see, my mum had become pregnant by Rose's husband, and she was starting to show. So they just shipped her off and left her there to rot. Took her away from her own children and just left her there. Rose ended up coming to the end of her life completely alone. They didn't even take her girls to say goodbye. They didn't see their mum for months before she passed. And then just nothing. It was like Rose just never existed. And if her 10-year-old ever tried to talk about her, she would just be shushed, as if she was being a nuisance. After Rose passed, the life insurance money came in. And my mum bought herself a brand new car, telling me she's finally got the car she always deserved. In the meantime, Rose's 19-year-old daughter and her toddler are now homeless because Rose is no longer alive to pay for the bedsit. And my mum and her new boyfriend refused to pay. She's homeless whilst my mum is driving about in this new car telling me it's what she deserved. Wait, it gets worse. When Rose's 19-year-old daughter was 13, Rose had just got out of a really abusive relationship with the 13-year-old's dad. Everything went through social services to make sure the child was okay, was adapting okay, to make sure the dad wasn't coming back into their lives. My mum was the social worker that was assigned the case. Then my mum and Rose ended up forming a friendship. She exploited Rose's trust, crossed every boundary, destroyed real lives, and smiled whilst doing it. She wasn't just a bad friend. She was a manipulative predator who preyed on this family only to rip it apart from the inside. But karma has claws. You see, during her pregnancy, my mum's mum, which would be my nan, she got diagnosed with the exact same cancer. And 7 weeks later, she passed. She didn't even get to meet the baby. And I hate to say it, but I truly believe that's the universe balancing the scales. I haven't spoken to my mum since, and I don't plan to. But I truly believe that karma is real, and she doesn't forget the pain that you cause others. Although part of me feels like karma hasn't done enough this time. And my mum truly does not deserve the happiness that her new relationship and her new baby will bring.
My mom had an affair with my brother's wife. My brother met his wife when they were both 25 and in their last year of school. They got engaged really fast, like about 4 to 5 months after they met. During their engagement, they spent a lot of time together, but they were never allowed to be fully alone together. So this meant that she would spend a lot of time at my house where either me, my mom, or my sister would spend the night with them. Inevitably, we all got super comfortable around each other, and this is when things started to get weird with my mom. My mom, who is 44 years old, started to get a little too friendly with my sister-in-law. Like, for example, we would be watching a movie and they would sit together, and then that turned into leaning on each other, and then that turned into full-on cuddling with each other. Another example is that they would FaceTime each other 24/7, and I'm talking about like waking up and falling asleep to each other on FaceTime. So eventually me and my sister would call my mom out on this, and she got extremely angry, and she was just saying that they were super close, so they would talk a lot, and she said she would stop calling her and talking to her so much, but she actually never ended up not talking to her as much, and she would just hide when they would be FaceTiming, and they would FaceTime for hours, sometimes even with AirPods in, just listening to each other's background noises, and then they would text each other when they would want to say something to each other. This went on for the entire engagement. Me and my sister would joke about how they were lovers, but we were really honestly just joking because we never thought that it would actually get that far. I had just gotten home from work, and my mom, my sister-in-law, and my sister were all sitting on the couch together. My sister had just gotten home like 10 minutes before me, and my sister-in-law and my mom had been together alone all day. I took a seat next to my sister on the couch, and she texted me and said, "Go look at what's on mom's bed, but don't make it obvious." So I got up really quickly, and I secretly went and took a peek into my mom's room. I didn't see anything at first, so I went in and took another quick look, and I saw a strap in the corner of my mom's room.
Hi. Okay, I know I just saw you this afternoon, but it's been such a long time, and you were the last person that I expected to see today, and surprisingly, it just made me really happy. You look good. I mean, like, you know, like you're taking care of yourself, and you seemed really happy, and I'm happy for you. It was great to talk to you again. You were my best friend, so I've missed that.
Hey, I got a lot of requests on my half up, half down hair that I do for my jobs. So I'm going to show you. Step 1, part your hair down the middle and brush it. Now that it's all frizzy, I think that this works really well if you have like thin hair like I do. But I take my Heritage by Mindy waver and I'm going to plug it in. Pretty much I'm just going to start crimping my entire head of hair, starting from down here. And make sure that this is like level, not like bent. Okay, my hair is nice and crimped, still parted down the middle, mostly. There's like hairspray and shit all in my hair, whatever. Okay, so basically I start from like right here, kinda, and then go more up than like straight, if that makes sense. Like, you know? And kind of just check to make sure that I still have some hair in the back. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm gonna take a hair tie and just tie all this out of my way. Now we have this top layer of hair. So I'm gonna take my toothbrush and just kind of like put these parts back with gel the green Eco Gel is the best, and just kind of mold it back there. So once I have it kind of where I want it, I'm just gonna put in a clip just to make sure it stays when I'm putting it up. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take my brush and start brushing it back and up. And we put those clips there to make sure our middle part stays, because I want that freaking middle part. Okay, I took the clips out. Just brushing. That looks good. Okay. Okay, I took out the back section of hair and I'm just gonna twist this down, if that makes sense, and then just kind of loop it back up. Can you see? I hope so. Taking my little clip, and I'm just gonna clip it back here, and then these can sprout however they want. New angle because my phone was sitting on this stuff. So basically I'm just going to start putting all of these flyaways in their place because they're pissing me off. Okay, and then I get to my baby hairs, and these naturally kind of swoop this way, and I'm just gonna let them. Jesus Christ. With my toothbrush. And this one over here just be acting crazy, so I'm doing the same thing. This is not my best attempt, also, because I'm not actually going anywhere, but this is how I do it. And this is essentially what it looks like. Sometimes my bangs will pop out and I'll like pop a couple of these in here. More hairspray, obviously, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. And I wore my hair like this all day yesterday, so, super easy, super simple. Love you guys.
What lesson took you the longest to unlearn? Mine was that I can't fix everybody, and I shouldn't be with people if I'm trying to fix them. I need to learn how to be supportive and actually love someone for once.
I went on a first date and ended up with a boyfriend. We just told that story to the internet last week and you guys seem to really like that. I have brought said boyfriend to tell his side of the first date story. I think I'm gonna leave you guys to it.
Now it is your turn to leave.
Okay.
Nicole's already told you guys meet cute story and the gist of how we met and then how we started dating. So I'm gonna tell you guys a very similar story, but from my lens. It all started with a Hinge match. I sent the first message, and I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't put like some elaborate scheme behind the message. Funny story that I think that Nicole left out in the very beginning was a few months earlier, I had seen Nicole on Raya. I had liked her. I had went to her Instagram. It had caught my eye because she's in Charlotte. You know, Raya is all over the place. So when you see someone in your hometown or the town you live in, kind of gets your attention because it can be somewhat rare, especially in a town like Charlotte that's still kind of an emerging market. And she did not match with me, right? Like, I think I went to her Instagram, liked a picture, nothing, right? Like, so I thought, okay, she's not interested. So when I saw her on Hinge, I was very, very attracted to her. Obviously, still am very attracted to her, but she definitely had my attention. But I didn't want to, put this massive amount of energy into a message that ultimately I didn't think she was going to respond to. She had a picture of a drink at Merchant and Trade, and I'd been there a few times. I just asked her if that was at Merchant, and she matched with me right away. I'll brag on Nicole a little bit when I say this. I feel like very attractive girls, such as Nicole, when you would match, they would just match and wait for you to respond. And I loved that Nicole responded to the message with enthusiasm. I don't remember exactly word for word what she said, but she definitely was energetic about her response and seemed to, really be able to initiate a conversation well. So we are matched on Hinge now. I now have a line of communication open with Nicole. I'm very excited about it. She's easy to chat with. Right away, we start with a little bit of a banter. I think Sophia's in Uptown has the best espresso martini. It led into like a great first date idea. We're gonna go to Merchant Trade and then to Sophia's. We're gonna back to back it and decide who has the best espresso martini. There might have even been a bet on the table. I'm not sure. I was very interested, right? I pivot right into asking her when she's available. This was the next thing that really caught my eye. We were chatting and she was like, I'm actually available tonight. Or, she listed off a few dates that week. And I thought that it was really encouraging that she threw out a time that was so quick. Neither one of us were looking for a pen pal, right? We weren't just looking for a friend to chat with. We were doing this with intention, and she was very intentional with the dates that she offered. So I took her up on, going out that night. We were both going out for like a Sunday fun day with some friends to watch some football, and then we were going to meet up after that. And originally we were talking about meeting up at Merchant. As the day went, we were both tired. She had been on a trip. I had just gotten back from a work trip out in California. We wanted to go see each other and meet, but we didn't want to put a bunch of energy into it. So we picked a local spot, Canopy. It typically is more like your Friday night, Saturday night spot. Honestly, on Sunday evening, it was super quiet in there. I got us a couple drinks and we dove into immediate conversation. It flowed really well. She is incredibly intelligent, as a lot of you followers already know. She's so easy to talk to. She's really down to earth. I think she just has great life perspective, right? I felt like I could really honest with her about not only the things about myself that, I try to highlight, but, I was able to open up about some of the things about myself that I know can be challenging, right? I'm a very stubborn human, for example. She was, I think, appreciative of the fact that it wasn't, just trying to highlight the good things, but we could both be vulnerable and honest with each other really early on about the things about ourselves and some of the life experiences we've had that have given us some harder lessons. So we wrap up the conversation after a couple hours, offered to take her home. She took me up on it. I was really excited about it. I knew I was going to make a move on her for a first kiss. So I was plotting that out on the drive home. When we got there, normally I would say that I speak for a lot of my friends when I say this, that, you get some nerves, right? Immediately when I got out of the car to go around, give her a hug and a kiss, there was no nerves, right? I felt like the connection was instant. She felt familiar in all the best ways. The first kiss was, I think, like very electric. I hope Nicole feels the same way. I think she does. It was just so rewarding. And, there was that moment where I was like, okay, I really want to see where this goes. I'm very interested in her. We had chemistry not only with, the kind of the physical side, but we also had a lot of chemistry, with our communication styles and the things that were important to us in life. I was just so excited by the time I got in my car headed home. I think one of the things that guys often contemplate when they are coming off of a very good date, how quickly do I follow up? Especially if you're interested, right? Because it's a balance, right? You want to let them know you're interested. I know for me, one of the things that's really important to me as I've dated as I get older is to be very, very intentional. I'm an intentional person. I think I approach all things that are important to me in life with a lot of intention, and I let people around me know what I'm looking for. I wanted that to be known that this was something I'm very excited about, and I was excited about all the potential I felt like was there coming off of our first date. I'm wrestling with, like, do I message her that night? Do I wait till the morning? Do I just say, hey, it was great to meet you, and then follow up the next day? True to form, I'm impatient, did not wait, and sent her a note and said, hey, I had a great time. I would love to see you again. Once again, Nicole showed up in the best of ways, and she was like, hey, I'm free these nights. I would love to see you again. That's very validating when you put yourself out there, especially right after a first date, because you just don't know, right? I think everyone who's been on a first date knows that there's inherent nerves, especially if you're interested in whether or not the person's going to reciprocate. She threw out Thursday. I immediately locked it in, right? I wasn't even sure if I was free that night, but I was going to rearrange things if I needed to. So we went into the next day chatting, and she was like, man, I'm so excited we have plans on Thursday. The bad news is I don't want to wait that long, which I thought was adorable. I was like, hey, I don't want to wait either. I'm like, what do you do? What are you up to tonight? You up for a chill night? All the guys and the girls can agree on this. Throwing out an idea of coming over is, that cannot land well. I invited her over to my house that night, not to be optimistic or presumptuous, but truly just I wanted to continue where we left things off, which was a great conversation. Both of us had come off trips. The likelihood of a Monday night, us wanting to go out and do drinks or dinner or something grandioso was going to be pretty low. Luckily, she was on board with that. She wanted to come over, have a chill night. We just got takeout. By the end of that night, and where the conversation ended, I think we both were very invested. No matter what, we wanted to see where this was going to go. I'm a very confident person when there's something that I want in life. From there, I was like, okay, this deserves my full attention, no distraction. After that night, I deleted all the dating apps. I was so excited about Nicole, and I didn't want to muddy the waters with talking to other people and be true to the feelings that I had around this. We did take a couple days after that to go to work and live our individual lives. The third date was a big one. I think it was a pivotal moment for us. We had talked about so much, and we had both told each other very honestly and openly that this was something we were both very interested in. It wasn't casual for us. We really hadn't talked about the big subject, which is, hey, are we seeing other people in the midst of all this, right? And that's probably one of the most unique times of dating. You know that you like someone, they like you, but there's just an inherent abyss where you have a lot to think about, a lot to wonder, and you're comfortable with the person, but you're still, evaluating whether or not it's a safe place to communicate that. Someone's got to make the move in terms of, saying the what are we kind of conversation. And I thought I'd be way more nervous than I was. We sitting there, third date, I said, hey, I'm no longer on dating apps, and I just want to let you know that I want to give this all the opportunity in the world to succeed, and I don't want any distractions. And I didn't have any expectations on her. I was certainly hoping that she would be in a similar place and want a similar outcome. She responded with amazing energy, and it was one of those moments where it was just so gratifying for me, because she came in and now she's smiling on us as we're chatting, and she was so excited to hear that. She found it very rewarding that she didn't have to spend time wondering or thinking or even have to bring the topic up, right? It was something that I was forthright with. I think that really set the stage for our entire relationship. Those 3 dates, and how open, honest, and transparent and vulnerable we were over that week really allowed us to be ourselves every day in the relationship and show up for each other. Nicole shows up for me in ways that no one in my life ever has. And I know you guys know how great she is, but for me, looking back over the time we've spent together, I'm just so fortunate, so excited to see where it goes with us and continue to reap the rewards of having Nicole in my life. And that's only the first week of our stories. It's been a few months, and so there's a lot more stories to tell.
We have so much to share, and we have so much planned, and we're super excited, and we're excited that it's cuffing season for all of y'all. So please let us know what other questions you have, what else we can share. You know what we'll be busy doing.
Bye, guys.